for millions of Americans hoping to return to work, a key segment of the economy may need to bounce back even faster than others. It may not be airlines, but it's daycare. Right now, childcare homes, centers, and franchises remain shut down along with the rest of the economy, with some laying off staff, at least temporarily, to cut costs to weather this storm. But an industry trade group is sounding the alarm, with 30% of respondents to a recent survey saying that they will not survive a closure of more than 2 weeks without significant public investment and support to retain staff and keep the lights on. Joining me now to discuss this is Joe Kirchner, the CEO of Primrose Schools, an early education franchise with more than 420 locations across the country, serving some 67,000 children and their families. Joe, thank you very much for being here this morning. Let's talk about your professional career as an educator. Have you ever seen or contemplated anything like what we're seeing right now?
Tom, I've been in the industry 30 years, and we've been through a couple recessions, but never anything like this. The disruption to children, families, teachers, the owners of the child care centers across the country, it's just disheartening.
How difficult has it become? Let's look at it from your perspective as a business right now. You employ a lot of people. What's been the impact there, and how significant has it become?
So for the families, obviously, they're sheltering in place, but for the businesses, the industry runs on a very thin margin. And when the businesses are disrupted for weeks at a time, the revenue that comes in that covers all of their expenses is disrupted. And thank goodness the federal government has programs that if they have small business administration loans, there's dollars to help them, but it hasn't come yet. And it really, those that have tried to stay open, their occupancy is down from about to 20%. Mostly those are serving emergency responders, people in the medical field. We're talking about 3.5 million families right now work with people working in the medical field trying to fight this virus. And because the states and many communities have closed the child care centers, you've got business owners under deep, deep financial stress, and the cash flow isn't coming from the families, and yet it hasn't come from the programs, both the CARE Act and the Small Business Administration.
Here's a tough question for you, Joe, and for your franchise owners and employers out there. Do you feel as though you could, in today's environment, safely open up your child care centers for business?
In some communities, it depends on how significant, if it's at the peak, if the virus is at the peak. At Primrose, we're doing all types of additional monitoring of the children, taking their temperatures, hand washing constantly. The schools are closed at night. They're cleaned at night. We have to balance the people that need to go to work, the essential, both the food infrastructure and also the medical infrastructure. Other areas, policemen, firemen, they have to have care for their children. And so the need is there, and so we're all doing the best we can in a situation we never dreamt we'd ever have to face.
So, Joe, we are going to get through this. I can say it with certainty, because my old boss used to tell me there's only one end of the world, and this is not it. So when we get out of this, how are you positioned? Are you ready or are able to scale up so that people can actually go back to work?
So we have 423 schools across the country, mostly in major cities. And we're fairly comfortable that all of our facilities, all our schools will survive. Where we really worry about the Early Care and Education Consortium, I'm a co-chair of it, and there's over 6,000 child care centers across the country that we represent. So many of them are small business owners, not franchises with a franchisor that can help them get through this, but small business owners that run on, as I said, a very thin margin. And for them, the ability to survive this, we really are concerned. We had a shortage in childcare before this ever started. And the concern is going to be, can the small business independent operator come back? Can they literally survive this? And of course, then the large national organizations, they're looking for opportunities to get government funding. And there's some of the sectors in the industry have not yet seen the kind of funding that they're going to need to be able to come back. I do know this. every governor in this country and every congressman and every senator is in unity that quality childcare, both childcare itself and then early education, we know today is more important than ever before because of early brain development. So as a country, we're going to do what we have to do to get this industry back up and running.